Okay, here we go. I'd like to introduce Rob Blanchard of 7X. His company is a comprehensive infrastructure to launch startups. Thank you, Rob.
Thank you. First of all, I'm just going to let you know what our ask is up front. The great thing about Million Cups is you're always wanting to help other companies, and the way you can help us is allowing us to help you. If you have a startup, please join 7xusa.com, register there as a startup, or if you're not a startup and you just want to play one of our games as what we call a virtual venture capitalist, you can do that as well. So a little bit about me. These are some of the companies that I've started. I consider myself kind of a serial entrepreneur. This shows you my success rate on those companies. I started off with a big hit, and I thought, well, this is easy. I'll try it a few more times. And you can see I had a lot of failures along the way. And that's part of being an entrepreneur, is you've got to be accustomed to failure. In fact, there's a 90% morbidity rate when it comes to launching a startup. So anybody that's going to roll those dice has to be pretty daring, because they're looking at odds that are not at all in their favor. And one of the sad things is these are some of the tools that we have that are available to us now as startups. And another one that we could certainly put on there is 1 Million Cups, which I think provides a great service to the startup communities across the country. But what we've done is we've tried to make a comprehensive infrastructure that kind of has elements of these things in it. We're definitely a hybrid. So we're going to kind of talk about that as we go along. This is a number that most people don't realize, that $600 million a day is invested in startups that fail. That is such a compelling number, because that means that there's a lot of money out there that is being invested in ideas that, there's people that believe in you guys. And it's actually hard to get VC money. Very few startups actually do get VC capital. But those that do, they still have a pretty high failure rate. So that money's out there. But let's one of the things that we want to do, the mission of 7X, is make sure that money gets put to better use, so we don't have $600 million that's going to projects that really don't deserve it. Okay. Kind of hit on that a little bit already. So one of the things that we observed is we've got a really proven infrastructure to identify champions. Any guess who that young athlete is there? Ding, ding. Tom Brady. So we, athletes have by far the best vetting system. And we vet kids from the time they're 5 years old. And we put them in competition every weekend, at least every weekend, to see what they've got. And if they've got weaknesses, they're exploited. They have to fix them, or they get cut from the team, or they don't get playing time. Before they ever sniff a paycheck, they've been vetted for a good, 12, 15 years. And before they get in the NFL, they're stripped naked, and they're picked apart. Every little thing is dissected before they, and if you know the Tom Brady story, he was drafted something like 260 or something. No, he wasn't a high draft pick. Yeah. But we all know that he went on to become a huge champion. And, I'm part of that process is being in competition and figuring out how to win. So what we've done is we've tried to simulate that format for startups. So we've created a game that startups play. We've also created a game that the community can play, similar to fantasy football. So we're going to get into that a little bit. So these are kind of the 4 quadrants that we are going to replace with 7X, that are all connected together. So for Kickstarter, this is the starting point for everybody that's going to be on the 7X, in the 7X big leagues, you've got to get in the development league to start with. So you go on the platform, you register at 7xusa.com, and you put your profile out there. This is designed to be really a robust marketplace where anybody can be there. It's also got a social platform component, so you can find the tribe of customers that you need to succeed. You may have a business that only needs a few hundred customers, or maybe you've got a business that needs millions of customers. But whatever it is, we hope that the 7X platform, as a social media platform and as a robust marketplace, can be a home for your business. Let me go back just a little bit. Right now, we are doing a beta season test, and we are including 8 states in this beta test. So those are the 8 states that we're looking at, and we want each state to kind of build a really robust team of startups to compete with the other 8 states. We kind of chose states that had a good startup vibe, but also weren't big monster states. So you guys will be part of, obviously, the Colorado team, and we want to make sure that we get some cool startups on the platform to represent Colorado. Rather than dealing with VCs, we've created what we call virtual venture capitalists. And this is a game that people play that is similar to fantasy sports, where you kind of evaluate the landscape. You pick the companies that you think are going to perform well in that round of competition. You put them on your roster, and then you reach out to your network and recruit other people to participate with you. And that's your scoring matrix. And the cool thing about virtual venture capitalists, I mean, obviously anybody can play and everybody can win, but you can get a return on your entry fee every week. I mean, if you're a VC and you invest in a company, you're going to probably wait 5 to 10 years before you ever receive a return on your investment. But virtual VCs can, that process can play out every 7 days, and you can earn up to a 7X return. And even if you're at the lower tier of the virtual VCs, you can still get a 20% return on your entry fee. So we've structured it so that the gameplay is very similar to fantasy sports and regular VC businesses. Where is my time up?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I don't know about you, but I'm interested in learning more. Who would like to ask a question of Rod where he can continue explaining about this? Thank you.
Yes. Go ahead. Yeah.
So I'd like to know how you define a startup.
Okay.
As part of this game, is it time frame, revenue, business plan?
To compete in the game, you can have up to $3 million in annual revenue. So that's kind of our threshold. If you're doing more than $3 million, then you're kind of beyond the scope of our game.
Hey, Rod, talk about the lower threshold.
The lower threshold is an ID on a napkin. As long as you can hold up your phone and do a selfie video and explain your project, you're good. Yes.
How are your VCs chosen? How are they investing in it? How do they
How are VCs chosen?
Yeah.
No, our virtual VCs are anybody. It's the general public. It's like anybody that can play fantasy sports can be a virtual venture capitalist.
Now, how do they invest and how do they get
Okay, there's no investment. And we spent, 7 or 8 months going back and forth with the SEC on this whole concept. This is a game. You pay an entry fee. If you're good at the game, you'll get a return on your entry fee. It's kind of like, running a marathon. You pay an entry fee to run the marathon, and the top performers, get a piece of the purse. That's really what it is. And we need to really make that point strong, because we don't want people to have the perception that they're investing in these companies, because that's not at all what's happening.
Well, you're using the term venture capitalist.
Virtual venture capitalist, yeah, we are. But big emphasis on the virtual. Yes. Okay, and if I explained that, it would have taken up the whole 6 minutes. So, so now I've got a little extra time. I'll do that. Sure. Yeah. So I've got a couple of sons that had totally different experiences growing up. One was kind of a innovator at heart. He'd always come up to me and Dad say, "Hey, what do you think this idea?" And I mean, that's an awesome idea, son. You should go for it. But he was largely ignored by the schools, by his peers, his he just kind of did his own thing. I mean, he went on to get an engineering degree and made the dean's list, and that was about the extent of his recognition. And he's doing fine. He's phenomenally successful. But my younger son was an athlete, and everybody wanted to be part of his life. I mean, we had coaches coming to our house when he was in second grade, bringing him gifts, saying, "We want you to come, be on our comp team." And that continued throughout his whole growing up years. We had coaches that would invite him to, go to the high UNAs and do high altitude training. We had companies that would pay his way to go back to New York and compete in the indoor nationals. He actually won a national championship back there. And everybody wanted to be kind of part of his success. And it was so interesting to see how he evolved because of the coaching that he received and the competition that he was in and the injuries that he had to overcome. But it was so cool, and I was so impressed with all the support that he had to help him reach his full potential as a runner. And I thought, it doesn't seem fair that my older son, who probably has a skill set that will really contribute more to humanity than my athletic son, is largely ignored, while my other son had all this attention, and we all wanted to participate with him because we all wanted to be associated with the winner. So we're trying to. I thought to myself, what can we do to create that type of environment for startups? Let's help them have a competitive environment that's exciting and interesting, and make sure that they get the coaching that they need to reach their potential. So that's kind of what spawned the idea. That was probably 6 minutes almost. So, yeah.
How does scoring work? So how does a company win?
Okay, great question. And we're going to actually simulate that. And if you don't mind, I'll defer that question to simulating a game, because we'll really go into the explanation of all that. I'm glad you asked that question.
What's the entry fee?
No entry fee. I mean, if you're a startup, there's no cost to join and to be on the platform. If you're a VVC and you want to play the game, you can play the free game as well. You can do that if you want. If you want to contribute, if you want to play in a league where there is an entry fee, then it's anywhere from $2 to $1,000. There's different points. It's kind of like fantasy football in that way. Yeah.
So where does your capital go once you pay that entry fee? What does that do? Does it help the company accomplish something?
Another great question that we're going to defer to phase 2 of this presentation.
So like fantasy football, is there a season?
Yes. It plays out over a season. So the startups, we have a preseason, we have a regular season, we have the playoffs.
If you're a startup that wins,
Yeah.
what's the value? What do you
Well-
what's the fun of winning? Or
Well, we feel like every startup that's on our platform is a winner. Number one, we we try to provide enough value there so that they feel like they're getting something for being there. But if you go through the process and you make it through the regular season, your team is one of the 4 teams that makes it to the playoffs, and you are not eliminated during the playoff process. I mean, all along the way, you're actually making money for being there. But there is a purse that it's kind of a perpetual purse. It's growing because all of the virtual VCs that are playing their game, a portion of that goes to this purse. I mean, we do seed the purse, but it could be multi-millions of dollars that are distributed to the top 7 startups for that season.
So tell me if I get this right, and I know it's kind of an emerging idea. But it's a game, right?
Yep.
It's a game.
It's a game with real-world consequences.
And so I guess here's one of my questions that kind of follow up to Frank that would make it more captivating. Well, 2 things. Is there a leaderboard that we're playing against? And it would seem like getting the jackpot would be the ultimate goal.
There certainly is a leaderboard for both the VVCs and the startups. We have a little box for each startup profile that kind of tells them where they're ranked in the 3 different scoring criteria that you can monitor constantly. And we have arrows that indicate if they're going up or they're going down.
Once again, you define startup from a monetary standpoint before. Is there a time frame that really...
We don't have a time frame because we feel like some people have been sitting on an idea for years and kind of cultivating it a little bit, and they haven't really gotten it out there. So we have no time limits on where you are as a startup. You could have been doing it for 5 years and haven't really kicked it, into gear. It hasn't really launched. But the other thing that we want to do in the 7X infrastructure is help companies obviously succeed, but also help them fail fast. Because, because one of the most painful things is to be launching a business and it drags on, and you're spending all of your savings and all of your in-law savings, and then your wife's upset and you end up in a divorce. I mean, we want to. Okay. So, we want to put an end to all that kind of stuff.
So this is fairly new, but I think you're a few years in. You want to tell us how long you've been...
Well, we've been in development on this for several years, but we're just launching our platform now. I mean, just barely. So we are just starting to populate it with startups, and we really need startups to join the community.
How many do you have right now? Sorry.
I don't know. I think there's probably a couple dozen on there. And I know we've got another dozen or so that are working on their profiles, and yeah.
What's the risk of a startup joining VVC? Like, is there any risk of the company?
I can't think of any downside risk. There's no capital risk. I mean, if you do get called up to be in the big leagues, there's certainly a time commitment that'll be involved, but we feel like the exposure that you're getting, the additional capital that you're getting really justifies it. Yes. How many levels to the virtual VC game? So there's 2 games. There's the VVC game and the startup game. And the VVC game, we do everything in 7s. So it's 7 levels.
Today we're playing level 1?
Well, we are playing the $100 level for the VVCs. We're playing the $100 game.
I'm curious what the 3 scoring criteria are, and is it based on success in the real world?
Yeah, that's certainly part of the scoring criteria. So we'll go over that really quickly. I mean, we're going to simulate that whole thing so you can kind of feel it. But number 1 is the VVC votes. The way the VVCs vote is part of the scoring criteria. Number 2 is revenue generated. And so that's weighted at 20%. The VVC vote is 35%. the competition, the actual competition of the two contestants, these two gentlemen here are going to show us here in just a minute, is 45% of the score. That's how it's currently weighted. And during this beta season, we're going to probably experiment with that to kind of optimize gameplay. But, okay. I think I'm getting the signal to wrap this up.
Yeah, could we ask one more question? You mentioned the word exposure, and that word, I love that word.
Oh, do you? Okay.
I do. So how does it create exposure for those?
Well, we're not sure where we'll end up. We have interest from ABC, from Fox, from CW. In fact, CW said they would even air our beta season, but it will be on television. We are not going to do that during our beta season. We just feel like it's a little bit premature. So we'll stream the competitions on YouTube, but we're not going to broadcast this nationally until we're just sure that we've got all of the little bugs worked out. That's why we're doing a beta season, and we hope you'll participate in that.
Thank you.
All right. We have a young gentleman here to ask our super special question.
What can we, as a business community, do help you?
Thank you. Great question. We kind of missed some of this, but there's the answer to that question. Yeah, you can really help us by going to 7xusa.com, registering as a startup or as a VVC, and join the community. The other thing we're obviously looking for is we just want to tie into the entrepreneurship community in Colorado Springs, so any connections that you can provide us, we would certainly appreciate
What
that.
kind of connections? Specifics.
Well, just connections to, VC firms, accelerators, incubators, universities and colleges that have entrepreneurship programs, co-working spaces like this that are kind of catered to startups. Anything like that.
I'm going to answer the question for you. So stay here, don't go. So I'm going to answer that for everybody. So we've as organizers have been making it our mission to get more startup people here in the room. It's not going to hold. I don't know what that's doing. So who knows about exponential impact? Raise your hand. Okay. So when I went there, I was wondering how come none of them knew what 1 million cups was. So we invited all of them. There was like 40 people, what it was last week. So every month, the third Thursday of the month, they have pitch night. There are 4 people that pitch. 2 of them win a cash prize, and 2 of them get a whole year at Exponential Impact, which is a co-working space, and all the resources that come with it. UCCS had partnered with Exponential Impact. UCCS has an entrepreneur program in their school. And so it's called The Garage. I'm going to go tour the garage in a couple weeks with the guy that runs that, essentially. So if anyone wants to join me, just I'll give you the date and time where I'll be there. I have an email that has like parking instructions because UCCS parking is a little crazy. And then Pikes Peak Community College is actually going to be a state school soon. So it's no longer going to be a community college. They have an entrepreneur program as well. So get plugged in. I'm trying to get them here in the room at least once a month so that they can educate us on what they're doing and what they're offering, because no matter your age, you can still go back to school, right? So that kind of answers all that for you, and hopefully they'll be here each week. So
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Rod. Oh, here you go, the official presentation. Congratulations. All right. We are going to go into community announcements. Before I do that, any first-timers here? First time here at Million Cups. We've got a couple. 63. Thank you. Thank you for coming and joining us. I'll lead off with community announcements. Anybody else who has one, please come up here. Please remember to make it the what the event is, the date, the time, the place, all the pertinent information. We don't need to know who you are per se. So I am partnering up next Wednesday, 11 o'clock next door for a complimentary 1 hour preview to visual composition. And after that, an hour of, if you have a project you'd like me to do a one-on-one consultation, I will do that as well.
Hey everybody, I'm Gio Pensino, and I'm a co-worker here at the Next Us. And one of my little side projects and my announcement for today is we've been cooking up a micro-urban farm project here at the Next Us, and we're taking little steps along the way. We've got some plants planted. You can see at the front door. We've got a growing tower, and now every Wednesday after 1 Million Cups, we'll be meeting in the lunchroom next door to work on plans. And if you want to get involved, come join us after the event today.
My name's Mary Applegate. I am CEO of teachtothebrain.com. And as I'm an entrepreneur in the Colorado Springs area, our team realized that there is need for training for online business. So I am successful with online business. I run reoccurring income, passive income, active income, and leveraged income. That's part of online business. We're doing a free 12-week training at Penrose Library called Power Hour, and we are hoping to connect, like our speaker today, with entrepreneurs to spread that knowledge. And it's noon to 1, free, 12 weeks in a row, and I will just teach with my husband the back end of e-commerce along with marketing online. So you're welcome to come. This is our flyer today, and there is a QR code to register for a wait list just because we need to know numbers, as Penrose has been very complimentary and helpful to us in making sure the space is available. We'll also have PDF filings for you online that you can download for directions.
May is Disability Insurance Awareness Month. As entrepreneurs, that's something that should be in your toolbox, because what happens if you can't work due to illness or injury? Where does the income into your business come from? So remember that.
Hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Eric Burr with Colorado Springs Rising Professionals. I just want to let everybody know that we're going to have another membership mixer next week. It'll be on the 25th, so that's Wednesday, starting at 5 p.m. at Father and Sons Taproom Brewing, I believe. Just get with me afterwards for details if you're interested in going. Thanks so much.
If you are a gardener, you might realize that this Friday is supposed to be rainy and cold, which means that our barbecue that we were so excited about, we've decided to reschedule. So if you'd like to meet your doctor by learning how he grills a brisket, please join us on June 17th from 1 to 4 at our open house. Thanks.
Sounds like a good doctor. Heck yeah. Because that says customer appreciation. So even if you're not a customer, you can go, because I saw that and I was like, oh, I'm not a customer. Okay, we're all invited. You're all potential customers. I have a binder full of goodies here for community events. So if you need to know something about senior events, family events, children's events, I have it right here. Flip's not here today, so I told him I would let everybody know, remind you that today is the 1-year anniversary of Nerd Night Colorado Springs. So join us at Kawadi, and we'll have 3 presenters. I don't know the details, but just go onto their social media or their website, and you can get all the details right there.
Good morning, 1 Million Cups. My name is Kimberly Gold, and the only thing I want to do today is give you an opportunity to laugh. We have a comedy fundraiser tomorrow at 3 E's at 7 p.m. It's Comedy for a Cause, so if you have some free time tomorrow at 7, we'd love to have you. And also, I just want to plug, if you are a veteran or you have access to Fort Carson, if you're like me and you have 1 million documents that you need to get rid of, they have a free shredding event all day. So I have my card, and I'm happy to share the information. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for your public announcements. And now, 7X Part 2. I introduce Kent to get the game started.
Hello, everybody. Kent Findlay. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of this presentation today. This is my first time at Million Cups. I love it. It's cool. It's great. I'm going to give you a brief introduction of what we're going to do. We're going to play a game. This game would be played on the platform, but we're going to play it practically here. We're a little bit free form, and so we're going to make some metaphoric adjustments. Go with it. It's not going to be hard. You're going to have some fun. We have two people who have real/hypothetical/evolving companies. And they're going to come up and they're going to give you a 30-second interview or presentation about what those companies are. As soon as those two presentations are done, I want you to glob onto them and talk to them and ask them questions. The idea is that you want to get to know what they do, why they do what they do, if it's a good investment of your money. We're going to give you some money, fake money, play money, to invest in these companies, but that's going to be a little bit down the road. So 30-second presentation. As soon as the second one is done, they're going to mingle around, get to know them, and then I'll explain the rest from there.
All right, we got 30 seconds on the clock, starting now. My name is Drake Rowe. My idea is a tiny house community featuring 50 to 100 units, averaging on rent, long-term rent, $850 a month per unit. Amenities that we are going to provide are things like a garden, a work area, so steel sheds that people can also rent out for an additional cost to put in like a workshop or any type of business that they're trying to start up. And most importantly, we're trying to build a community. So we're offering a major like community center where we offer fire pits outside, places to mingle, and any other type of amenities such as a large kitchen for those of who live in RVs or tiny houses that don't have a large kitchen and want to cook Thanksgiving, movie theater, game room, and the idea is to allow young and old people who are retiring a good way to finish life or start life.
Fantastic. What's the name of your company?
In process.
In process housing.
In process housing.
Okay, so this is the perfect format for this. So I'm an instructional designer, and I create gamified learning environments online. And so I have one foundational program called Pivot to Purpose. And its primary purpose is to help people discover what their natural gifts are, what they're naturally good at doing, and then turn that into a business or a career. So my business idea that I want to pitch now is I want to take this the entry experience into this program onto the road, very much in the fashion that we're talking about, to innovation centers and talk to people about it through that kind of on-the-road experience, create media, social media. We'd love to have you join us, and that's my idea.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. The name of your company again?
One True Calling.
One True Calling. So, all right, ask them questions. Take a couple of minutes, ask them some questions. Don't, really glob onto them. We're going to pass around some money for you while you're doing
Actually,
that.
everybody's got their money.
Oh, everybody's
So
got
what
it?
you're going to do right now, you've got to pick a number 1 and a number 2 here.
The white team.
You got the white team, you got the brown team. So you can put 1 white, 2 brown, or vice versa. But if you want to ask us some questions, we're trying to simulate the social activity on our platform here. And what you want to do is, however you vote, you're going to want to get other people to vote the same way as you. So you're going to reach out to your network and say, okay, I'm going with this guy because I really like yada, 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 whatever. So that's what you're going to do over the next couple minutes, okay? So have at it.
We don't write it down or anything?
So,
You write it down, yes.
on your card, you're going to write down Company A, Company B, One True
Calling.
One True Calling, and can I call it in-process
Sure,
housing?
it's a work in
In-process
progress.
housing. You want to vote them number 1 and number 2. You are VVCs at this point, right? You have $100 at your disposal, and you're going to play the $100 game. So you say, I like in-process housing, or I like One True Calling. I like them better than the other one. You have to differentiate. So you're going to say, if this were the real world and you were on the platform, you would say to your VVC network, hey, this is the ballot that I'm casting. On the platform, it'll be 7 companies. You have 7 companies to vote for when you cast your ballot. We're doing 2, just for the interest of time. What's happening is you're starting to see some sifting. You're starting to see this company is ranking higher than this company. No offense to these guys. Thank you for coming up at the last moment without notice. So, but we're starting to see some sifting. You guys are causing that sifting.
You ask
so,
questions,
so
right?
that's what we're doing right now. Yeah.
So we're just
Yeah.
asking questions.
So, yeah,
now.
go ahead.
Geo, how
and
do
I
you-
would kind
how
of
do you make
go out
money?
and mingle and who
Not
you
from stage. Not from stage.
Not necessarily from stage.
Okay.
This is more informal.
Yeah, everybody stand up. Roll up your sleeves.
I'll just kind of be standing here.
So in process is what's the
So I'm a developer, the landowner, and I have people working under me, property managers and such. And basically the income is paid primarily off rent. Whereas in innovation, incubator, still looking this is in the gold right now. But so I'm looking for incubator farming Tennessee, kind of I want to bring it out onto the road, southern California, build big I'll be involved here.
I've already sold it. The ultimate product is $2,000.
I would like to start out with 50 units with the capability to expand to 100 units in the future.
Go away to it, maybe have a lower price.
If they were to get actually lots where they're not bumping up. But for starting costs, in total, I'm looking for $2 to $3 million.
It's
That
a
is to
hybrid
build the
program, so I
buy
need
the
to
land,
buy,
build the units,
but it also
build the
has
infrastructure for us.
So how long do you think to repay that $2 million? How will you make money exactly?
Go ahead.
what we were talking about, $33 million is what you're...
Startup costs, yes. Startup costs.
Including the land and the buildings?
Land and buildings, and that's based off an estimation of $20,000 per infrastructure plot, plus a $500,000 building. On top of being able to pay the employees for 3 years without having to make any revenue. Pay it off at a maximum 25 years. That's the maximum you can take out on a 504 loan. But sooner would always be better.
Yes. And how exactly will you make money? Just people paying you for
Primarily rent.
space?
Primarily rent.
Have you considered having a BYO mini house that you don't have to provide them?
That's exactly what we're wanting to do.
Okay.
We just want to provide the infrastructure and the community amenities, and then people bring their own house. I live in a tiny house myself that I built myself, and I'm very passionate about that community because it actually brings people back together, as opposed to, I don't got my phone on me, but pretend I have a phone. Communicating with your phone like this, we communicate now like this. Things that I want to provide, aside from what I mentioned up on stage here, is I want to do like festivals and activities and things like bringing guest singers, startup bands.
All right, let's move around. If you've got your ballot ready, I'll take it.
Any other questions? I will not be owning that show.
So everybody knows a little different than that. So what we're talking about is creating a road show.
Primarily through
Okay. So one true coat, brown team or white team? Oh, what you said, white team? Okay. You got you ready? I'll take it. Yeah, you gotta write it on there.
How do you see the actual mindset that you might be in your way? And then how do you get
You gotta write, yeah, you gotta write A and B.
Okay. This being a game, this is an end goal, like we're doing in investment, but I'm looking to do somewhere in the lower southern belt.
The gardening here, you mean the downstairs gardening that you walked in?
Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, that whole area there, good rich farmland.
Yeah, I mean.
Okay,
great.
So much like an RV park, you bring your
So are you
RV
working with the
or
next
you might
on their
get a
gardening
tiny
area
house.
here? I was gonna offer you a chicken.
Rent there for short term, long term. Goal is
They're nice, tough
year to year, but
I've got some farm fresh eggs, actually.
KOA on steroids. I'm like major
Okay,
steroids.
yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I've always given away my eggs right from time to time.
It's like a small franchise, or essentially like you like call ahead, like, hey, I'm coming, or yep, we have a hookup, community center, pool, showers.
Does everybody have their own house? You don't provide any leads to how to...
I am thinking about offering a very minor fee, provided housing, but the major goal is bring your own house. So I'm looking at $850 per unit with 50 to 100 annual That'd be ideal.
Paying for a house and then paying for a lot, but I don't like it.
Do you have different types of, like rent
primarily through so just say 3 months, $900, 6 months, $850, and a year, $800. Anybody who feels that they want to different something.
Okay. Anybody else? 30 seconds to catch a ballot. 30 seconds.
Young couples trying to get a good start.
Yeah, you got Rhino there. What company do you like better?
Just retiring and just middle-aged people like myself, welcome as well, but young and old.
That's like write my name on there?
No. Okay, drop it in, whichever one you like better. Okay. 10 seconds to catch a ballot.
Okay, we're going to start the competition now, guys. You can still kind of submit your ballots but also during this, we want you to spend your other $15.
Right, I'll start passing that around right now.
Okay. All right. So come on up here. We're going to, like all good sporting events, they start with a coin toss.
Take heads.
You're going to call it.
Tails.
It's tails.
I'll let you go first.
Okay.
What am
So
I doing?
You go first, okay?
What am I doing?
Okay, so come up here.
Okay.
Now you've got 2.5 minutes to make your case and beat him, okay?
2 minutes to make my case.
2.5 minutes.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Hey, Ron, while they're making the presentations, this represents revenue. You're going to be spending revenue off of what they're pitching. What they're selling, you have $15. Spend it all on one, split it up however you want to. These are circulating around as they make their pitches.
Okay, you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
We're going to go 3, 2, 1. As soon as you're done and you want to send the time to him, you tap this, and then his clock.
So I talk for 2 minutes?
You talk for as long as you want. You have 2.5 max.
Oh,
but
I see.
you probably want to rebuttal whatever he says.
Do I pitch my idea again?
You pitch your you
Okay.
sell your idea.
Okay.
Your objective is to beat him.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll give it a try. Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay, wait. Who are our judges? 2 judges. We need a 3rd judge. Third judge. Okay.
Can you use the mic? It's
Already done.
chatters a little bit.
Okay.
We're ready to roll.
All right. We ready? And go.
All right, so the thing that fascinates me the most about entrepreneurialism is this idea that we create something from nothing. My grandfather, when he first came here, his first business was an ice business. Water, ice, something from nothing. So my program, the one I'm launching, what I want your support on, is to help other people do that same thing. Something from nothing, something from inside of themselves, something that they're interested in, something that they love to do, they're naturally gifted at. My program is to help them find that and turn it into that stream of income.
So I have a question for you. You want to help people, of course, but how are you going to make money to be able to expand further?
Okay, so it's a little, some people know, some people don't know about the back end of being online in training and consulting. So the back end product is Pivot to Purpose. It's a 12-week program. It's at a $2,000 price point. I've already sold it and seen results from it already, and this is kind of the entry into that.
Do you offer any type of lower tiers to attract other people other than, $2,000? That's a lot of money. I don't know if I could pay for that right now.
Yeah, so what I offer at the beginning level is actually an enormous value, and this is part of the roadshow. So doing master classes, both live and live streamed online. So if I have an audience, great. If I don't, I'm live streaming from Salt Lake City. And it's a master class, an hour long, tremendous value, totally free.
So other than just sitting there watching you talk and being able to ask questions, how do we participate in order to get the most bang for our buck? What's in it for us other than just watching and listening?
So the key foundation of this whole thing, something from nothing, is discovering what your natural gifts are. And there is a process for doing that, and that's what I'm bringing to people in the master class. It's that foundational value.
All right, I don't have any more questions at the moment, so I guess I will start my pitch. So again, we're in progress housing, in progress because we don't have a name yet, and our goal is to foster a actual community of people and offer them an opportunity to either start life out well or a place to settle down towards the end of their life.
So who's the intended market? Is it a certain age, a certain income?
Primarily people who are starting out young, a young couple, a young single, and they're trying to get ahead in life. So offer an opportunity outside of this crazy housing market that we're having. And primarily elderly folks who are coming to retire and just want to settle down and have a place to work on their hobbies and actually be part of something that they had when they were younger, which is a community.
So tell me more about the physical structure model. What would make it different than, say, other cheap, crappy housing that's like really expensive here?
Have you ever been to an RV park? They're either bump to bump without that much space between houses, or they're all gravel. Trust me, I know, I live in one. What I want to offer is everybody at least a little land of their own, an eighth of an acre, if you would, to put their house that they bring on. So infrastructure-wise, we have a community building, some community assets such as a garage, dog park, walking park, edible gardens, and so on and so forth. But we don't own actually any housing aside from the community building where people bring their own housing to settle down in. So we just offer the plot, electricity, water, and plumbing.
Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I do get a little bit of an image of public housing. And what makes it different than that, in particularly in terms of how the property is taken care of?
So we would have a full-time on-staff garden land maintenance, and everybody is not on top of each other because they don't have their own personal unit. Whether they paid somebody to build it for them or they built it themselves, it's all welcome. But we're looking to target tiny houses more to foster a growth in the community versus RV parks where it's just, the $10,000, $5,000 RVs.
Okay, you're gonna really have to help me on this one. I love tiny homes, but the thing that I'm like, what? They're often like really expensive. Like, yeah, they're tiny, that's cool, but they're usually really expensive.
That's only if you have somebody else build it for you.
Hey, can I interrupt? I think we get the gist of it, right? Okay.
Yep.
All right.
We got 3 seconds anyway. So.
Okay, awesome.
All right, so
Good
you've
job,
just
man.
seen an example, a micro example of what a 7X business competition will look like. It's not just about pitching your idea, it's about pitching your idea in the face of opposition. You have two opponents trying to exploit each other's weaknesses and build up their own company, not while, heartlessly tearing something down, but just saying, hey, this is a better idea and we're going to give your investment. The $15 you have in your hand represents revenue. So if you were to buy their product, how would you break it up? Would you give them 15 each? Would you give them 10 and 5? How would you break it? Just break it up in those envelopes right there. Now, while I'm collecting these, I want to tell you about the score that we're using. So the first part of the score is how successful you are at attracting BBCs or being a BBC. Yeah, the brown shirt and the white shirt. Okay, anybody there? So
I'm the white.
yeah, good. So your score is comprised of three elements. Your BBC score, how well you're able to do attracting BBCs, how well a BBC is at picking right companies. Okay, that's one part. The second part of your score is how much revenue you generate. Anybody else now get a chance to put their money in? Okay, we're going to count it up. Okay, the third part of your score is judges. We're going to get to that in just a second. Okay.
Jenna can finish up.
Yeah.
We need some time. We have about a minute and a half of 1 million cups.
Okay.
Do you need a time to?
No, we can stop here if you want to do your stuff, and then we'll finish up after they're done. Is that okay?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go from 1 to 10.
Thank you, gentlemen. I look forward to hearing the results of the game. I'd like to thank Fedde Studios for doing our video. Thank you, Fedde. Always an awesome job. Do we have any alumni here today? Organizers, presenters, we've got a few. Bob Kittredge, always, George. Thank you, gentlemen, all of you supporters who have been a part of this group. And a heartfelt shout out to Judy at The Next Us, our sponsor here, provides this awesome facility. Thank you so very much. Remember that when we wrap up, please police the space, help us pack everything up. That way Judy won't get grumbly at us. Show her that we love this space.
Am I going or?
Yeah, give them their 30 seconds because Kevin.
Oh, okay.
Where did he go?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Yes, come up to your 30 seconds.
Hello, everyone. Woo! I'm loud. My name is Kevin Fedde, Fedde Studios. I do video, photography, live stream, drone stuff, getting into doing sound as well. So just, if you need help with any of that, let me know. I got cards and, here you go, Judy.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for being here to support the entrepreneurs at The Next Us. That's what we do. So just, by example, we've got Flip, who offers jiu-jitsu here. We've got Jenna, who's going to be offering an arts workshop. We've got Kenneth, who did a financial literacy just in this room. We've got all kinds of members sitting here with us today we come from all walks of life, every generation, and every profession. So, the idea really is that as different as we all are, we all have something different to bring to the table. And if we come to the table, we have so much more to walk away with. So thanks for being here, you guys, and welcome to The Next Us.
And now for the end results.
Thank you. I'll be here all week. So the third part of the score is the judges' score, and we are gathering that right now. So you're going to have to stick around afterwards if you have time to find out who actually won this competition. Okay, I want to. So you guys each put in $100. So I'm just going to tell you what that went to. 42% of that $100 playing the VVC game went to the startups themselves. So it's to finance and capitalize their operations. So as they're trying to launch, they're looking for money. If they work their social networks and they work the networks around them and they're able to attract VVCs to say, hey, I love what you're doing, I'm going to put you on my ballot, they get a larger portion of that 42%. The top 20% of the VVCs receive a stake of that, will get a return on their ballot. So 42% of that $100, $42 went to that, and then the top 20% of the people that perform well get access to that on a scaling return. Okay, so your next question is undoubtedly, well, what's happening to the other 58%? 7X keeps 10% of that to finance our operations, and 58% goes back to the VVCs. Okay? So that's really interesting, right? 42% goes to finance operations for startups. If you're good and you work your network, you get 42% of that money. It's yours, no dilution of equity. You can use it to buy inventory, to do R&D, to whatever you need to do it. That's your money if you're able to work your network successfully. Okay, but now this is two games that work simultaneously. The VVCs are playing their own game. If you're an influencer, or you're really good at picking companies, or you have a knack for saying that's a good company, I think they're going to do well, and then you cast your ballot, and then you get other people to cast their ballot, and you perform well, you get 48% of that revenue coming back to you in the form of a prize. And that's a weekly, can I use the word payout, reward? Well, the SEC says we can't use certain words. So that's a reward for you doing well in that world. Okay, so there's two games that work simultaneously. You get it, right? Okay, pretty dang cool. So now you're not just watching Shark Tank, you're playing the game yourself. You are, for lack of a better term, you are the shark. You are say, hey, I think they're going to do well, and if I'm right, I get a reward on that investment. That's never been done before. That's innovative. And what's happening is this wheel is spinning on each other. These two games are playing off of each other, and it's just getting better and better and better and better for the innovators, for the startups that are really out there doing their job and doing what innovators do, coming up with a good idea and taking it to market, right? And now we're financing that operation. 7X is financing that operation. So what we need from you guys is we need startups. We need startups to play the game. VVCs don't have anything to invest in if there's no startups. It all starts here. If you have an idea on a napkin, if you have a company, if you have in-process housing that's ready to go, no bias intended. One true calling is if you have one true calling and it's also ready to go, Yep, it's ready. Like, we need those up on the 7X platform, and you can do that by going to 7xusa.com. We are going to be yeah, go ahead. Yes, they do. So we call it tribes. That once an innovator goes out there, or a startup goes out there into the world and puts their idea out there, the idea is that you're attracting a customer base, and you're also attracting people, and we provide a forum for that on the platform to say, hey, what if, or could we do this, or could we pivot here and add this little part here? We provide that opportunity for the innovators. Yeah, I guess I'm done.
Thank you very much. Please speak with them afterwards, and we'll find a way to let you know who won. Again, thank you for attending 1 Million Cups this morning in person and virtually. As is our tradition, I'm going to leave you with a quick quote before we say goodbye. Night is always darker before the dawn, and life is the same. The hard times will pass. Everything will get better, and the sun will shine brighter than ever. Ernest Hemingway. Be well.
I want you to know that the competition was close. We had let's see. I know. I'm trying to get the money sorted out so I can actually pay them what they earn.
We'll tell you the bill after this commercial break.
Well, we're going around. Okay, you received $400 for your.
Not bad, not bad. $400, I'll take that. I like it.
$400. But get a couple more here.
So keep in mind, this would be a weekly thing. What's happening right here? This is not a one-time take-all. This is a weekly thing.
And it wouldn't look like this either.
Yeah, it wouldn't.
It's all virtual, correct?
Yeah.
I have a question on the VCs.
Yeah, sure.
Do the VCs know the other VCs that are investing, or is that all private?
Oh no, they.
It's
Very
not
social.
withheld.
Very social.
Okay. Yeah, it's not withheld. We're encouraging you to go out and really work the network.
Okay.
The successful VVC will be one who unapologetically, belligerently, like over the top, works their network. That's who's going to win.
Yeah. $500 for you. And you were our champion today.
Good competition.
And we also have, I think it was like $560 to distribute to the VVCs out there that voted for the right guy and that were recruited people. And so you VVCs don't feel like you're left out. There's money there to be paid out to you VVCs that were winners. But only 20% of you won. Okay? Okay?
All right. I like the idea. I like the idea.